far and wide we drink tonight with folks from all around.
All right, guys. Welcome to the show, a morning edition of Afternoon Pike. Cheers. I'm Mike
Cheers.
Tobin.
I'm Matt Conrad.
And who are you ladies?
I'm Roxy, one of the co-founder of the Beer Babes family.
And I am Rachel, the other co-founder of the Beer Babes family.
Beer Babes family. Beer Babes. So I do gotta apologize. This is usually a beer show, but today, if I can open it, I'm gonna have some of this JD Shore rum to go in my morning coffee here. How afraid to open these, man. Holy smokes. I stole this off an airplane because they just did a deal with the WestJet, that's right. Yeah, WestJet. There we go. So yeah, just put that into the coffee. No one would ever know. It's beautiful. Matt, what are you drinking over there, buddy?
So I'm also decided to go with JD Shore. Since we're talking to, beer babes and women making booze, I decided also to support that as well. This is just women making distilled products. So I figured I'd go with that. So I got their After Eight rum cream there, and it's who would have thought it actually goes pretty good in the morning.
Yeah. This is awesome, my coffee. What are you guys having over there?
We are drinking the Babe Brew number 22. It's a seltzer that we brew with Long Slide in Toronto, and it was released on June 1st.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So
mango.
You guys are in New York City right now?
We are.
What are you doing down there?
We had a release yesterday with Yonkers. Babe Brew number 24 was released. It's an AZ IPA. So that's what we do.
Yeah. So Babe Brew, yeah. So go back a bit. What is this Babe Brew thing? And where did it get its start? Like you're on 24. What was number one? What's the story behind this whole thing?
It started out of nowhere, actually. We were just an engagement group of women. The hashtag Beer Babes family was getting popular, and a homebrewer in Phoenix reached out to us saying, hey, I would like to brew beer with you and give the proceeds to Pink Boot Society. So we're like, yeah, why not? The beer was a success. Our first three beers were not called Babe Brews. They were called Girl Crush. But trademark was already put for that beer. So we decided to trademark Babe Brew instead. So we are the Beer Babes family, but all our beers are called Babe Brews. Babe Brew number 1 was brewed in January 2022, where Rachel worked at Bone House in Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay.
And every time we have a new brewery, we give a new numbers. If you work with us multiple times, it will be like 1. We're releasing 1.4 in January 2024 or 5.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And so your partnership helps breweries along and helps the causes you guys fight for in the process as well.
Yeah, well, we like to help promote and help sell beer to the places that support us. So the relationship is very reciprocal. You support us, we're going to do the best to support you. Being in the industry, we know how how difficult it can be, and so we want to lift everyone up at the same time.
Awesome. And I'm just asking a friendly question, but why should they support you? What are you guys doing?
So the Beer Babes family is a nonprofit organization, both in the United States and also Canada. And we do these collaboration beers throughout all of North America. And a part of the proceeds of the sales of Babe Brew goes to our business grant fund. And that is gifted once per year to a woman in the industry who is trying to improve her beer business.
Cool. That's awesome.
So with all these different places from around North America, you guys are actually flying in and like doing the process, or do you just come up with recipes with them? Like what level degree are you guys getting involved in all these?
We let the brewery brew the style that they want because we are also a community and a lot of people are traveling for a release. Yeah. We usually, if it's local, we go to Brew Day, but we cannot travel for Brew Day. One of us try to be at every release. Sometimes we're together. We let the brewery decide the style of beer they brew, because if we have people from all across North America who come to the release, they all buy beers, so your beer will be exposed everywhere. So we want the brewery to brew the style they do the best. We also like the beer sold out fast, so we like when it's because the brewery know their customer more than anything else, and every region has like a different popular style. So I don't see myself telling to a brewery in California what they should brew when I live in Montreal. Yeah.
That's creative. I love it. Yeah.
The
So
only thing they have to follow is like if they can the beer, we provide the artwork. We have a yearly label because visually we realize that it's easier for people to know that it's our beer if it's the same visual for 1 year. So next year we're going to have a different label.
cool.
That makes sense. I like that. We actually entertained that idea of like kind of changing up our logo every year or something like that. But then we decided consistency, like at least for our podcast, is probably best. But for a beer, you got to keep changing that, keep making it more exciting and getting attention on the shelves type of thing. So that makes sense. Yeah. So you said you're like you work in Arizona?
Yeah, I'm from Phoenix.
So you're from Phoenix, okay.
Yeah.
So you're working at a brewery down there. I'm actually going to Arizona in August, actually.
Oh my God, why are you going in August? It's
I know.
so hot.
My wife's a teacher, so my vacation selection is very limited.
I see. Well, you'll have to hit me up if you're going to be in the Phoenix area. There's a lot to do, and there's a lot of really good beer to drink.
Well, he's
but we
supposed
have
to get an interview
Airbnb.
while he's away on vacation. So Matt, there you go.
There you go.
And find a brewery to talk to down there, or 2 or 5 or 10.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah. I'll take some stuff with me, like take some recording devices and stuff like that with me. But I know we have an Airbnb booked in Sedona. I'm pretty pumped about it. I've heard the place is pretty amazing.
Sedona is absolutely beautiful. It's good that you're going in August because the tourists will not really be there, so that's great for you. It will still be hot, but I would highly recommend taking the 30-minute drive north up to Flagstaff into the very, very high mountains. There's a lot of great beer up there. That's one of my favorite places in all of Arizona is Flagstaff. Yeah.
Flagstaff. All right. I'll have to, I'm starting to do some research on that stuff. My wife's the hiker, so we're going to be doing some hiking in the morning, early morning before the sun really comes out.
Yeah.
And then doing that. But we're flying into Vegas. We're going over and staying close to Zion. We got an Airbnb booked close to Zion in Utah, and then going down to Sedona and then back to Vegas. That's our little triangle that we're doing.
Well, you'll be driving through Flagstaff to get to Sedona from up north. So yeah, definitely stop in there.
Yeah. All right. If I have any questions, I'll have to hit you up because I definitely want to hit up. I already know I'm going to go to, I can't remember the name of it, but I know that Maynard from Tool, he has his vineyard there.
Yes.
And I'm definitely hitting that up. That's for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, I got his mead from Shayna. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of really cool fermentation stuff going on in the state of Arizona. The soil composition is very similar to that in Italy. So, and the climate at that elevation is similar to Italy as well. So Italian grapes do really, really well in the central desert of Arizona. So yeah, lots of really good mead, lots of really good wine, and lots of really good beer. So yeah, it's a cool state for sure.
So what do you do for work in Arizona?
So my main hustle, I work for a food and beverage media agency.
Okay.
So we work with different restaurants, breweries, vineyards all over the state. We have a festival, a yearly festival. We have a quarterly magazine. We have a weekly podcast, and then we do curated tasting events. So that's my main job. And then I work at Bone House doing social media, marketing stuff, events, beer festivals, tap takeovers, stuff like that.
Now,
You're very busy in the alcohol world.
Yeah. I'm a little busy.
Do you both work in those? Do you both work in those endeavors together, or do you do your own thing?
I live in Montreal, in Quebec.
Oh, okay.
So we're business partner, but we live in different countries.
Amazing.
How'd you guys meet being so far away?
Yeah. Are you going to explain that story? Go ahead.
We met on Instagram. In the heat, the depths of the pandemic. I was drunk scrolling one night, as we tend to do. And I came across a photo of Roxy, and there were 3 things in that photo that struck me and made me want to reach out to her. The first was that she was a lady and she was talking about beer. And then the third part was that she was talking about the history of Montreal. I love Montreal. It's one of my favorite cities. It's so beautiful. And so I sent her a message. I was like, hey, can we be friends? I love your content. Like, let's talk some more.
And she became my best friend. Who knows?
Crazy.
What do you know?
Yeah.
So,
She's
Roxy, what do you do in Montreal?
I manage. I've been working in the beer industry for 5 years now. I just switched brewery. I was a director of operation for a brewery in Montreal who actually got sold for a bigger, like the brewery tend to merge together now, and because too many of them open.
Did Unibrew buy them?
No, not a Hebrew. A big chain restaurant in Quebec bought 3 breweries and they got to merge all of them together.
Which ones?
I was working for Saint Houblon. They're
Okay.
gonna merge with Brasseurs du Monde, so Saint Houblon doesn't exist anymore. They take the restaurant concept, but they're gonna take this Brasseurs du Monde beer, which
Okay.
it's really sad because Saint Houblon beers were pretty good. We worked with them. We did Babe Brew #6 with them, so we worked with them 2 years in a row. They brewed the same beer because it was really popular. I just moved a month ago to be the taproom manager from their downtown location. So I'm really like in the festival area for West Shepherd, which is a brewery in Bromont, which is in the mountain in Quebec.
Yeah.
Smaller brewery, but been open for a while now. They're really great. The beer is actually, I didn't know a lot of their beers. I'm surprisingly happy to work for a brewery like this. The beers are really good. And so far so good.
Okay. I love Quebec beers. My wife's actually from Quebec City.
Oh, Quebec City is probably the mecca of beer in Quebec. People love Mesarem. I think Mesarem is overrated, but there's a couple of really good brewery in Quebec City.
It really is.
Love Quebec. Like
that being said, though, the Brasserie de Beaupré is actually one of my favorites. It's out by Saint-Anne-de-Beaupré.
yeah, I know. I've been there before pandemic. I think it was there in 2018.
Yeah.
They won some prize. Like they're not known, but the beer is good.
Yeah. Another one that's a little bit further out, kind of closer to the Maritimes, is Naufrageux, which is like
Oh, it's in Gaspésie.
it
Yeah.
is in the Gaspésie. Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
And they make 32 different beers. It's insane.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's a lot of taps. Jeez. 32?
Yeah.
Shit.
We actually before Take the Blow, and I thought it was crazy.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
It also, like, they have a bunch of seasonals and things like that, but they have some ones that are pretty consistent. I remember when I first started going there, like over 10 years ago, you sit down and like they have their flights were set up like a compass, and you could sit and be like north, south, east, west, and then they added the northeast, the southeast, and all the way around. So you had 8, and now you go there and you say, like, can I have like a sample of all that they have on tap? And they have to give you 2, which is 16. The other, like, basically, I guess not quite, it depends. Like, it was like 32 beers. I mean, you're looking at 16 on tap. The rest of them are in bottles, which would be some seasonal ones or maybe some one-offs or whatever. But if you go to their store that they have on site, you can buy 32 different beers, and there's 16 of them on tap. So it's a lot. But it's beautiful, right on the water. It's right in Calatansamar. So yeah, I would highly, highly recommend. That's a place you guys want to hit up. Yeah.
It's far. It's a 14-hour drive from Montreal.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
No, because my mom used to live in Gaspésie, and most of the brewery there are closing now because they only have tourists 3 months of the year. Because in the winter it goes to minus 50 degrees with the wind and the ocean and everything. Nobody goes there, so those breweries survive. Like Pit Caribou.
Pit Caribou, exactly.
It's probably one of the most popular. They have 2 tap room in Montreal now. Like they have to survive. They have to have tap room outside of their region because it's so far. But it's beautiful.
Their beers are everywhere now, though. Like you can get them in like pretty much everywhere across Quebec. You can get Pit
Caribou is one of the main brewery in Quebec. Yeah, and they also area than the Pajaro. So
yeah, so it's there's some great, really great Quebec beers. I find just to give you like anyone who's listening kind of thing, they're more of like a Belgian style beer versus like a lot of other places are get that like IPAs and that more UK style or even German style beers. They're more of like, I'd find a Belgian style beers. They like their alcohol quite a bit.
It's changing now. We're really a New England. Montreal is really New England IPA.
Montreal is, yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't like IPAs, so I'm really sad about it. I still drink Unibrew. Like I'm an Unibrew girl since 1997.
The Fin de Monde.
Belgium style beer.
They're delicious. Yeah.
Oh, the Fin de Monde is like, we can get it here in Halifax. I go and pick up a 6-pack of that here and there. It's one of the most easiest drinking 9% beers you can ever have.
Yeah, that's true.
Sounds fun.
Yeah. No, yeah. So you guys are in New York. You're launching a beer. Is that what the event was?
Yes. Yeah.
So you said this was 22? 24. 24.
It was 24.
So what style was this?
It was an AZ IPA. we have 5 IPAs in the row, but it's in the summer, so I think it's a good idea. We want the beer to sold out fast. And sadly, IPAs have tendency to be popular, so they sold out fast.
Sadly.
I love IPAs. There's nothing wrong with a good IPA.
Next month in
bad
Indiana, I'm going to Indiana, and next month we're releasing a quadruple IPA.
Oh wow, that'd be fun.
I'm not going to be able to drink that, sadly.
My gosh, ship us a few if you can. That'd be a good time. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I would definitely. I mean, it gets to a point where you can only taste so much hops and stuff like that, right? It kind of saturates at some point.
Quadruple hopper.
Well, I mean, but if you get that, you get like a 12% beer or something, I'm okay with that. I had Sink the Bismarck once, which was 41%.
A 41% beer?
41% IPA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That sounds intense. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds a little good.
Yeah, it's honestly like IPA punched you in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I like that. I'm a happy medium kind of guy.
You know what? Yeah, I do love the New England hazy IPA. I think those are kind of growing a little bit more right now. I think that's a good, like the West Coast IPA, more kind of.
So for Nova Scotians, the hazy IPA, that would be like a alternate reality. Is that a good example?
Yeah, that is a hazy IPA. Yeah.
I figured. Yeah. That's a really nice one out our way. If you're ever out this way, North makes alternate reality. It's probably one of my favorite IPAs. If you ever want to try one, give it a chance. I'm like one. I hate sour beers. You girls like sour beers?
I try it.
She tries it.
I do that face.
Do you guys like sour beers? Either one of you or both of you?
I love sour. She's not a sour girl.
Yeah, my palate. I try everything. I grew up in a household that preached you can't say you don't like it till you try it. So I try everything. I am always trying to expand my palate, and I find, as I have found with other styles of beer, that the more you try it, the more you will eventually like it. So like yesterday, for example, I drank a Flanders Red. That's about as intensely weird and sour as one can get, at least in the traditional sense.
I love it.
I know you do, yeah.
I love them too. Yeah.
Describe a Flanders Red a bit to folks who don't know.
Flanders Red, so it's a traditional Belgian style open fermentation, and they use real fruit in it that they don't peel. So the yeast that is naturally growing on the fruit skins is going to impart a lot of unknowns because wild yeast is wild, right? So they tend to be quite funky. Brettanomyces also is a yeast strain that tends to live on fruit that can impart flavors and aromas such as wet horse blanket.
That's
leather.
A flavor? Stop. Wet horse blanket's a flavor?
Wet horse blanket. Yes.
That sounds great.
That's an acceptable flavor trait in this style of beer. Not everyone, of course, picks that up, and some people, their palates really love it, and that's what they're searching for. But then you get the nice fruit character in there as well. It's a beer that is expressive in the yeast character more so than anything. So you're not going to get any perceived bitterness from the hops. You're not going to get any sort of malt character. It really showcases the yeast.
I think when you have a flavor like wet horse blanket and you're actually looking for that, you've gone too far. You need to turn around the vehicle. You need to start a new hobby. You're just off
You
the
know
map.
what? It's
What?
funny you say that because on the wine side of things, like if you get like an old world Pinot Noir,
Yeah.
like chicken shit is actually like an aroma that is sought out in Pinot Noir. And honestly, you can get it sometimes, but I'm definitely more of I love Pinot Noir, but definitely more of a new world kind of Pinot Noir because there's a
Yeah.
couple of those old world ones where you take a smell and you're just kind of like, no, no, sorry, can't do it.
No.
And that probably comes from, the advances in yeast technologies, right? So we can ferment things with incredibly precise, clean yeast, depending on what the brewer or the winemaker is wanting. But old world, meaning several hundred years ago, there was no control over those things. So
Right.
that wild yeast that's on those grape skins, like, yep, you might get it.
Crazy.
Oh yeah. So what like not everyone just falls in love with craft beer. Everyone knows my story, but we don't know your story. So why don't each of you take a minute to like just kind of say like what made you fall in love with craft beer?
On my side, legally age to drink in Canada is younger than in the States. So I start drinking. I never drink anything else than craft beer because I started drinking beer with Unilever.
Right.
I was about 14, 15 years old. So for me, craft beer is beer. There's no magic or anything. It's just
Love
my
it.
my first beer I bought was La Maudite from Unilever, and I liked it.
Oh yeah. Great
Now
beer.
I'm happy. Like this is what I grew up with, and I was like, oh, that's beer. So when people give me like Corona and everything, I was like, what's that piss horse thing? Like, I don't like.
So hold up, you don't like
So,
Corona? Like I'll have a Corona in the summer.
I
That's
I
fine.
I grew to love them with times. I love
Sure.
Pacifico. I think for a Mexican beer, Pacifico is really good.
Good.
It's
Yeah.
actually it's German people who opened the brewery there. It's German yeast and everything. It's different than all the beer you're gonna find in Mexico. Modelo Negro is pretty good too.
Modelo's great. That's probably up there for me. Yeah.
But I will rarely go for like commercial beer.
Yeah.
I have to really be stuck, and sometimes I will go for other things than beers if there's only commercial beer.
So you're a loyalist.
I am really loyal to craft beer.
and if anybody wants to know, like when she was 14 and started drinking La Maudite, if anyone wants to know, that means the damned translated into English. So there you go. She was damned to drink craft beer for her whole life, I guess.
I have to. Rachel's
That's
story
awesome.
is more like a normal adult who find craft beer story.
Yeah. Well, so I was born in Milwaukee. And for those who don't know, that's it's the epicenter of American beer. So many German immigrants, when they were coming to the United States in the 1850s, they went to the Midwest. Longitudinally, it is very similar to that of Germany, so they could grow all the crops and things that they already were familiar with. And so, of course, they also started brewing beer in that area. So beer, and I'm very Polish and I'm very German. So beer was always a really crucial part of my household growing up. My maternal grandfather had a kegerator that he built out of a really old refrigerator that was in the basement, and he always had a keg of beer. He drank Miller for a really long time. And I learned to pour beer out of a tap when I was very young. Yeah, Rachel, Grandpa needs a beer. Take the glass, run downstairs, pour the beer. So beer was always around. I always understood its cultural importance for the working class German Polish folks of Milwaukee. But I didn't really start drinking at all until I was in graduate school, actually. It just was something that never really interested me. The friends I hung out with, nobody really drank. I'm a big fat nerd, if you haven't gathered that yet. So that was more the folks I hung out with.
Now you're a beer nerd.
She is the ultimate nerd.
Yes, I proclaim that with much pride. So yeah, when I was in grad school, I started hanging out with folks that drank a lot of beer, and we would go to trivia nights, and we would go to local pubs. I went to school in Memphis, Tennessee, and we went to a pub called the Flying Saucer, which is a chain, but it has taps. Like it has like we were talking about lots of taps earlier. This place had like 60 taps from beer from all over the world. So going to trivia nights there, I started trying new things and learning about beer from trying stuff and also from the people that I was hanging out with. And then that's kind of when I really started to learn how diverse and interesting beer actually is.
I hang out with a lot of American in the last 3 years, and I don't get their love for PBR. Like for me, PBR is disgusting. Like I don't get it, but I love them, so I go with it. I even shotgun it, so it's okay.
You know what? It's so funny though, because like there's always, my whole life there's always been that running joke about Canadians making fun of American beer, but Americans have like really great craft beer. They really do.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like some of my favorites, honestly, Dogfish Head is one of my favorites, and Rogue from Oregon, like love their beers. We used to be able to get their beers here, and we can't anymore because monopoly stuff. But
That's a like good question, Matt. Like, I mean, you kind of really explained how things are happening in Montreal with the craft brew business. A lot of places are shutting down. How do you find things are going in Arizona? Like, just in contrast with all the craft breweries you folks have. Do you find they're a lot closing, or is business booming, or how's everybody doing?
It depends every state. I know we work with a lot of brewery in Florida, and right now a lot of brewery are closing in Orlando. So because I think in Phoenix, it's most of them doing well, but I think it's really depending every state.
Yeah, I think, well, I've noticed there's just simply a shift. So there's good craft beer everywhere, right? That is no longer a novelty. You can go to the grocery store in the beer aisle and you can have floor to ceiling shelves of local craft beer.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
You don't have to travel, make a destination to a brewery anymore to get high quality local beer. Also, in that same vein, the business model of we make really great beer, come and drink it at our brewery is dead, or it is very quickly dying. Consumers, they're changing. So in Arizona, marijuana is legal.
Yeah.
The younger generation is choosing that over alcohol consumption. That's changing things a lot. Non-alcoholic beer is something that you have to carry.
We're seeing that trend here too.
Same trend.
That is inevitable. It is going that way. You just have to embrace it if you want to have a successful business.
Yeah.
So breweries are having to kind of change their business model, their idea of, we make awesome beer. Yeah, you can get it anywhere. Great. But if you want to come in, or if you want people to come into your brewery and drink the beer there, you have to offer something else outside of good beer. So there has to be different events, musicians. At Bonehouse, music bingo is like one of our most popular nights. So kind of getting a little bit creative in creating these reasons for people to come in just outside of drinking your beer because they can get your beer at the grocery store.
Amazing. So similar to Nova Scotia.
You can get the Beer Babes family to visit your brewery because we have people to travel. So you get your brewery on the map for a while. Like this weekend, we have a girl from North Carolina with us. We have a girl from Oklahoma. Rachel's there. We had folks who came from Pennsylvania yesterday, Delaware.
Other parts of New York.
Yeah.
New York is a huge state.
So are you guys reaching out? Are you guys getting like new members to the Beer Babes Club? So you'll have like a Beer Babe in, I don't know, Scranton? I don't know why I picked Scranton. I don't know. I was watching The
Office.
Yeah.
The Michael Scott IPA.
But Michael Scott IPA, that'd be great.
There's two levels of how we get our beer. At first, it was only by word of mouth. So we don't have members or anything. We have ambassador. They have requirement to be an ambassador, but it's not an ambassadorship where we give stuff away. It's more you help us grow. So they have to own merch. They have to volunteer. Yeah, they have to attempt at least a release per year to be an ambassador. It could be if they cannot travel, they could help us get a beer in the area, so that will count for a release. So this is how we used to work, mainly by people, not even just girl, because Babes is also for men. So we have tons of men behind us too. We get a brewery through, people will talk to their local brewery. So we're still doing that, but also now because the Beer Babes is getting bigger and known, brewery will find us on social media. They will discover what we do, and I will do the work. And sometimes we don't even have locals for a release. So that's something that we're getting to now. That's a new part of our business. It's mean that we're growing, and people now, we get to a brewery in Fort Lauderdale a couple of months ago. We were not even wearing our beer shirt, and the guy was like, "You're the Beer Babes family."
Oh, cool.
We felt like rock star that day.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does one find the Beer Babes on you guys on Instagram, or where are you the most popular?
We start on Instagram, so this is our main platform at Beer Babes Family. We are also on Facebook.
Okay.
TikTok is something, because I'm the one behind our social media, so TikTok is something I really don't understand. I tried. We have a TikTok, but I haven't posted in a year. I should try again.
TikTok is stupid.
I think we all agree here. We have a TikTok. We put things on it, but I don't know if it's just because we're old.
Yeah, I was about to say we're
old.
But everybody here is at least their 30s, so we're too old for that shit.
Cool.
We built a really pretty website too. So beerbabesfamily.com is, you have a lot of information there. You can send donation.
I'm not sure how well you can see this, but the design here on your oh geez.
Yep, no, it was there.
The design here on your most recent, that's some cool. That comes out July 6th, eh?
Yeah, we have an amazing
Oh,
woman.
it's Waterloo. Oh.
Yeah, working with Waterloo in July 6th. One of our ambassador works for Waterloo, actually. Waterloo is by Carlsberg, so it's actually our first release with a major brewery.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
It's their craft beer place for Carlsberg. We're really excited.
Cherry bomb, that looks delicious. Sorry, I'm just getting excited here. Look at that one.
Yeah, we had that
beautiful color.
Yeah.
So have you guys has anyone made for you a chicha beer?
No.
Oh, that seems
someone needs to do it.
I think honestly, that's the for getting women involved in brewing and beer, that would have to be the mecca of it, because it's a Peruvian beer that's mostly made by women, right? 85% of brewers in Peru are women, because chicha beer is made from the saliva of women, right? They chew the corn.
He loves this. He keeps going on about it. I'm like, oh, he gets so excited about splitting out beer.
So
I'm not eating like a bird beer. Like, you know what I mean? That's gross. No.
It's science.
You've talked about this before. Nobody wants that but you, man.
Well, did you know Dogfish had made an iteration of that? That was probably
they did
15 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds gross. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I think
came out with your wet dog horse or whatever the frick it was. Wet blanket, horse blanket.
Yeah. Wet horse blanket.
Yeah. Chicken shit line.
That's great.
That is such a very distinct, very specific thing to taste and flavor. So obviously someone was chewing on a wet horse blanket and was like, this kind of tastes like this beer.
Yeah. And the cheap beer, they were chewing on chicken shit and they were like, this is disgusting. Spit it in the fucking beer they're making. Right. And then all of a sudden everyone's like, this tastes great.
There's all kinds of palettes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For now,
I'm borderline generic beer. I just want something that's refined and pure, and I don't think about too much when I'm drinking it. I'm like, oh, this just tastes really nice. Yeah. That's my ideal beer, right?
Oh, it's okay. Like
beer flavored beer.
No, he likes IPA. That's pretty much
IPA is probably my favorite though, right? So sorry, but I mean, as long as it's not too wild, right? You know. But I like a good New England IPA is actually probably my favorite, followed up by lager, like a good lager.
We love lager.
Yeah. So
to continue on what we're saying, we're growing out of everybody like you who give us a spotlight and bring attention. I met Barbara almost by accident when I was in Halifax, and she connected us with you guys.
Yeah.
You guys will love what we're doing. You'll start talking to your local brewery. Something would happen out of it. It's how we grew. and we don't know where we're going to be in 2 years. Our community is exploding. We are at the moment, and I checked, the biggest active, the largest active women in craft beer community.
That's
Oh, wow.
awesome. Yeah.
You know what?
We're
I'm
gonna-
going to talk to Great Roads. Like, they're the ones we work with a lot and we record there. I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to tell them we're doing a chicha beer, and I'm just going to assemble a bunch of women just chewing.
Dream will come true.
Yeah. Roast. And Matt will be the only one at the release.
No. Tobin, in fact, you have to drink it.
Yeah. Getting paid extra that month. Yeah.
I'll be there for
But,
Brew Day then.
There. I'll be outside pitching Bud Light. Yeah. But geez, girls, it was awesome talking to you. Hold my smoke. So like the Instagram, I just want to say it again there so people can follow it if they watch this episode and enjoy what you're doing. I think what you're doing is awesome, bringing awareness to craft beers, involved in charity, and just I mean, making this not just a boys' game, of course, is important when you're talking craft brews and craft beers, recognizing all the people that are involved in the industry. But beer, can you read it?
Yeah,
Beer Babe
Babe
family.
family.
You see it.
Here we go.
We're
So
talking
you-
earlier about our beautiful visual. Shout out to Janet, our artist who live in California. She create all our labels for free if she volunteers. So she's been with us since the beginning, since 2021 actually, with a Girl Crush 3. She's amazing. She create all those beautiful visuals. Sometimes she do too. I'm more like behind posting those things and interacting with people than anything else.
Awesome. Yeah, well, we'll end it on the cheers, I guess, guys. So
Yeah.
cheers. Thank you, JD Shore, for the morning beverage.
Thank
And
Oh, and how was the seltzer? Before we go, how was it? How did it turn out?
Oh, it's great. I had it on tap at the brewery. I think the mango is more present in the can than on tap.
Okay. All right.
I don't
right
know.
on. So
Cheers.
this is the first pintless pints, I think, Matt, or second pintless pint, maybe. Yeah, but we're trying. We're doing our best. All right. Well, thank you so much, guys.
Cheers.
Thank you for
Thank
having us, guys, and we'll stay in touch for sure.
All right, cool. Cheers.
We really love our beer. Barley, hops, and yeast makes our days full of cheer. From far